Thank you for what you've done. Howard, tonight we have a resolution for you. This is the Past President's Award. Sheriff James Woodruff.
Thank you, Sheriff. It's an honor for me to stand here before you tonight as one of the new sheriffs that took office in January. Shortly after doing so, we were summoned to Atlanta, to the Capitol, to fight a hard fight against House Bill 1. I never knew Sheriff Howard Sills until I made it to Atlanta that first trip, but I soon learned what a hard fighter he was for the office of sheriff and what it stood for and how to protect our rights and make things right for us. I was contacted some months ago about who would I nominate for Sheriff of the Year. It didn't take me long to ponder that. After learning of Sheriff Sills and seeing him work and his dedication, there's no doubt that House Bill 1 did not pass, a lot in due to his hard work and his dedication. He kept us updated, the ones that could not go to the Capitol, on the legislative process as it moved through, and I really believe due to his hard work, it did not pass last time. And so with that, I want to congratulate Sheriff Howard Sills on being Sheriff of the Year.
I need to introduce a few people. I didn't really tell anybody to come. Lord, looks like they brought the paddy wagon full over here. But the first person I've got to introduce is my lovely wife, Janet. I'd like to ask her to stand. I know y'all know she puts up with a lot. And tonight, in all the years I've been sheriff, and all those many years I was chief deputy and came to Sheriff's Association things, I never have had any of my family here. And, the older I get, the more damn emotional I get. I never thought much about mortality until things started breaking. But my sister's here tonight, Sally Jenkins, if you'd stand. And my brother-in-law, Colonel John Jenkins. They actually live across the river over here in the poor part of the South in South Carolina in Aiken County. But she was born and bred in the center of the universe and has beautified Carolina from its coast to its mountains. She is not my biological sister. We grew up together from first grade on, and we are actually distantly related by blood. I was adopted by my grandparents when I was a child, legally adopted by my grandparents, but I don't know, and I'm very grateful to them. But around the 8th grade or 9th grade, Sally Blake basically took me home one day and they kept me. And her mom, who I consider my mother, she couldn't come tonight. She's in a retirement home up in North Carolina, and she actually called me a little while ago. And her mind's not quite as good as it used to be, but she actually dialed my cell phone and got me and said she understood I was on the way to Augusta. I never argue with her about anything. I said, yes, ma'am, I'm on the way. I'll be there soon. She said, they tell me you're getting some kind of award, and I'm so proud of you. And I said, yep, Sally's coming. Oh, I know she's coming. Sally's coming. And I said, I'll call you later. And unfortunately, Big George Lawrence, he died some years ago. And he's the one I learned the law from. He was the district attorney at home. Anyway, I really miss him. But anyway, enough with that. Let me introduce some more people. My left and right hand, who you may know, are here tonight. My Chief Deputy, Russell Blink. My administrative assistant, and left hand, Teresa Slade. My best damn detective, Lieutenant Harry Luke. Sergeant Bert Davis and his wife Shawn. Bert is my polygraphist and therefore has tested all matter of lie detection equipment on me every day. And I know some of you won't believe this considering how many county commissioners I've eaten in my career. But tonight I'm very honored to have one of my county commissioners, Major Billy Webster. And Paul Van Hout, our county manager. I also want to thank Terry Norris. He has aggravated me to death for the last, 16 years, but it's been intense aggravation for the last year. I really appreciate, y'all don't realize what he does. You know, I'm an old war horse, and I think I'm pretty tough, but, you know, he's in Bainbridge one in the morning and Trenton in the afternoon, and the next day he's in Camden County, and then he's up in Rabun County, and he's worried about all of your family, and he knows when your children are sick and your relatives die, and he's at the Capitol, and he's constantly dealing with something. And, you know, as tough as I am, and I'm tough, I could not do what he does. No way. And he does a tremendous job for us. And Christy Luman, who has made every hotel reservation, I don't even know how to do that. She sets up these conferences, which, you know, it's just amazing, the logistics behind all that, y'all don't know. And here comes Tanya, who does all of our training. You know, she's got PowerPoints and things ready for me. And we talk, but all of these people, all of our staff do a tremendous amount of work, and let's give them some applause, please. Now, you know, I know most of y'all know I'm a great detective, moderate, pretty good attorney, fair physician, farmer, root worker. I got a lot of talents, but most of y'all don't know that I'm also a paleontologist. Here we have some dinosaurs. They're all there. You got your Supersaurus, your Vulcanatus, your Pterodactyl, your Iguana colossus. They're all there. At one time, they ruled this planet. They ruled the earth. And that is old T-Rex, the baddest ass of them all. He was the sheriff of the dinosaurs. They weighed about 7,000 pounds. They were 20 foot tall. They were over 40 feet long. The jaw on that thing is over 5 foot long, and its eyeballs were big as volleyballs. And of all the dinosaurs, it had the largest brain of all. But that brain, y'all, wasn't any bigger than your two fists. And the cerebrum of that brain, the part that actually thinks, wasn't any bigger than that walnut. Bobby spoke on it a little bit a minute ago. Terry has spoke on it a couple of times to the point I almost wanted him to shut up. But the office of sheriff in America is under attack. County government is under attack. County government in Georgia is being eroded as more and more unincorporated areas of our counties become cities, and we lose our tax base to operate county government. You know, we think that because our offices rest in the bosom of the Constitution, and therefore know that the only way that this office, this most venerable of all elected offices, could be done away with is by amending the Constitution of the state. And of course, to do that, the people would have to vote on it. In the year, just a few years back, now that's a story from a headline in the state of Delaware where they're trying to strip the sheriffs of their law enforcement powers. The state of Connecticut literally abolished the office of sheriff. It was an office created in their Constitution, and they had to have an amendment to the Constitution, and the public voted on it. And I think it was something like 70% of the public voted and did away with the office of sheriff in Connecticut. There are no sheriffs in Connecticut. County government has been done away with in Rhode Island and Connecticut. There is no county government. The county boundaries still exist, but they're nothing more than something to describe where something is in a deed. There are efforts underway in Maine. There are efforts underway in New Hampshire to do away with county government, to incorporate every bit of their state into various cities and turn over all the duties of the constitutional officers to the state government. Rhode Island has no elected sheriffs. Their sheriffs are a division of the Department of Public Safety, supervised by the colonel of the state patrol. Last year in the New Hampshire legislature, these are the exact words of one of their representatives. The sheriff should stick to serving writs and providing court security. You cannot find anywhere that they are charged with going out on the highway and running radar or running investigations. That should be done by the state police. How is this happening, we say? As Terry mentioned earlier, some of the new sheriffs, it's happening quite insidiously, I think, or it's nipping away or eroding around the edges and doing it little by little. And a lot of times, and I know y'all hate to hear me sometimes, but a lot of times the answer to what's happening is in the mirror. And you've got to protect this office. I know you young sheriffs or that have been in a couple of classes of you that have been in sheriff training that I provided. You know, I said that, you know, I asked you who made this quote, who made that quote, and then the quote was, "The office I hold is more important than me holding the office." And of course, I'm the one who said that. Every time you get in trouble, every time you sully that badge, it's another pit that starts to rust this office. A lot of it we do innocuously. I mean, all over the state now, I'm hearing people, I call sheriff's offices, and they're answering. When you call the Putnam County Sheriff's Office, they say sheriff's office. When I answer the phone, I say sheriff's office. But all over the state, I'm hearing the phone answered and they're saying law enforcement center. By God, you're the sheriff. It's not a law enforcement center. There's nothing in the Constitution of Georgia about a law enforcement center. There's nothing in English common law about a law enforcement center. There's nothing in the book of Daniel about the law enforcement center. You're the sheriff. Where you are is the sheriff's office. It's the office of sheriff. You've got to assert this office to protect it. And little things like that eventually erode this office away. Too many of us call our jails detention center. A detention center is something run by the Department of Corrections to keep people from going to the chain gang where they belong. There's nothing in the, if you look up detention center in the code of Georgia, or the cases of Georgia, you won't find anything about a detention center other than one run by the Department of Corrections. You took an oath that you were the keeper of the county jail. It's a jail. Let's call it a jail. It's part of the sheriff's office. You need to be, if at all possible, the absolute figure of public safety in your community. No matter what the crisis is, you need to be that figure. You're trained in these idiotic management courses that you must have a public information officer. You need to be the public information officer. When your community's in crisis, whether it's murder or natural disaster or whatever it is, they look to you, the sheriff. You are the only person in Georgia law that has the duty to protect the lives, persons, property, health, and morals of the people. Nobody else has that duty. City police are authorized to enforce law. State patrol are authorized by the legislature to enforce laws on the highway. The GBI has certain authorizations, but nobody has the duty that you do. The Supreme Court said that a long time ago. That was an actual referendum question in Lackawanna County, Pennsylvania last year. Y'all, this is what we want to be. It's what I want to be. It's what I get up every day wanting to be. Best example of a sheriff there ever was. Did Andy carry a gun? Andy carried a gun. A lot of people don't realize this. There were lots of episodes when Andy carried a gun. That's an old 97 Winchester there. And when Andy had to be tough, by God, Andy was tough. And we've got to be tougher. Your law enforcement role is the most important thing you have. If you're calling the State Patrol to work every wreck you have, if you're calling the GBI to work every investigation you have, if you're calling somebody else every time something happens in your community, sooner or later you're going to see a referendum to do away with you. Because they're not going to know who you are. Our public, with all of this partisan politics and foolishness that goes on every day, we know more about it far more acutely than that. What they're looking for in their elected officials and what they want in their sheriff is somebody who they see working, somebody who they see is honest, and somebody they see is fair. But they are looking to you to be that person. And as Terry says, and as I say frequently, be the sheriff. Be the sheriff. It's an awesome responsibility, but they chose you to do that. And my favorite scripture is the words of Jesus, not Howard Sills. You can find it in the book of Luke. To whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. And I'm asking you to do more. Do more to protect this office. If you don't, you're going to look up one day, or your grandchildren are going to look up one day. The dinosaurs, some people say a meteor hit the earth. Some people say it was climate change. Whatever it was, they couldn't adapt. They couldn't change. They couldn't improvise. You can. You know why? Because your brain's bigger than a walnut. It's been an honor to serve you, and I intend to keep doing this till the Lord takes me out. Thank you.